Getting out of your marriage may mean digging out of debt as well. In this episode, we'll discuss how to protect your rights. Starting a new life after divorce is a lot easier if you don't have a lot of debt. One of the most important issues in a divorce is deciding who is responsible for paying your bills. Making sure you don't get burdened with more than your share is critical, especially at a time when money is tight. There are many ways we can help protect your rights. We want to make sure you get through your divorce as painlessly as possible. That way, you can start the next chapter of your life free and clear. Dividing debts in a divorce is like dividing assets. The court will assign debts to each of you. In Massachusetts, debts aren't necessarily divided evenly 50-50. They are divided equitably or fairly. What is considered fair is up to the judge. Oftentimes, a judge will start out from a position of splitting debts evenly and then make adjustments as they go. If you want your spouse to be responsible for more than 50% of your marital debt, you'll have to give the judge reasons to do so. Marital debt versus separate debt. All debts that were incurred while you were married are considered marital debt. Those debts need to be divided between you and your spouse. But in Massachusetts, the court can also order one person to pay the separate debts of the other. In other words, if your spouse had a student loan before getting married to you, the judge can order you to pay back that loan. In practice, however, that usually doesn't happen. A person's debts that they had prior to the marriage are generally their responsibility, but there's no guarantee of that. Identify and gather debt information. It's extremely important that you know all of the debts both you and your spouse have. You don't want any surprises later. I would advise you to get credit reports for both of you. There may be loans on there that you've forgotten about or didn't know that they were there in the first place. The credit report will show all of your credit activity over the years. This way, we'll be fully informed when addressing this issue. Before we discuss the factors a court looks to when dividing debt, I just wanted to let you know that if you're considering a divorce in Massachusetts, you should go to affordlaw.org/checklist. We've put together a handy checklist and a free video mini course explaining the 7 most important things you should be thinking about. Factors in dividing debt. There are several factors a court considers when dividing debts in a divorce. Some of the most important ones are the length of the marriage. The longer you are married, the more likely a judge will be to divide debts evenly. Earning capacity of each spouse. If one of you earns a lot more than the other, that person may be assigned more debt since they have a greater ability to pay. Financial contributions. If one person contributed more financially during the course of the marriage, the court may consider that when dividing debts. And alimony. If one person is ordered to pay alimony, they will have less money available to pay off debts. In that case, a judge may assign fewer debts to them. Debts tied to assets. Some debts are tied to specific assets. They are called secured debts. Some of the most common types of secured debts are mortgages and car loans. In these types of debts, the person who gets the asset, the car for example, is also ordered to pay the car loan. And that makes sense. Whoever gets the use of the car should pay for it. Judges don't have to do it that way, but they often do. Debts in one person's name. Sometimes debt is in only one person's name, such as a credit card. The question sometimes comes up whether the spouse who is not on the card is responsible to pay for it. Generally, yes. Both spouses are obligated to pay that debt if it was incurred during the course of the marriage or for the benefit of the marriage. For example, if one person takes out a loan to buy the family car or make improvements to the home. Bad behavior during the marriage. How you act during the marriage can impact how debts are divided in your divorce. If one spouse behaved badly, that can be a reason to ask the court to assign more debt to them. In one extreme case, the wife tried to arrange to have her husband murdered. The judge assigned 90% of the debt to her. In a more common scenario, if one person's behavior directly affected how much is in the marital estate, such as gambling, that person is more likely to have more debt assigned to them. For more information on divorce in Massachusetts, please feel free to visit our next video.